Tenny presents The Metamorphosis by Franz Kafka. When Gregor Samsa awoke one morning from unsettling dreams, he found himself transformed in his bed into a monstrous vermin. He lay on his armor hard back, and saw, as he lifted his head a little, his brown, domed belly divided by arching ribs. The bedding was hardly able to cover it, and seemed ready to slide off any moment. His many legs, pitifully thin compared with the size of the rest of him, waved about helplessly as he looked.
"What's happened to me?"
he thought. It wasn't a dream. His room, a proper human room, although a little too small, lay peacefully between its four familiar walls. But his first thought wasn't of his horrifying transformation. It was about his job. He was a traveling salesman, and he was already late for the 5 o'clock train. Now, the story itself. Gregor glanced at the alarm clock. 7:15. Had the alarm not rung? But it had. The problem was his deep sleep. And the even bigger problem was now what to do. The next train was at 7. To catch it, he would have to rush madly.
Gregor, it's 7:15. Didn't you want to leave?
That soft voice. Gregor was shocked to hear his own reply. It was unmistakably his old voice, but with an insistent, painful squeaking mixed in.
Yes, Mother. I'm getting up now. Gregor, what's going on?
Gregor, are you unwell? Do you need anything?
I'm almost ready.
But his family wasn't convinced. And soon another voice joined them.
Good morning, Mr. Samsa.
The chief clerk. Of all people.
You have not left on the early train. We were concerned your position is not the most secure. I must insist on an immediate and clear explanation.
Panic seized Gregor. He had to open the door. He rocked his body, trying to get out of bed. He fell to the floor. With his mouth, he slowly, painfully, turned the key in the lock. The door swung open.
Oh.
The chief clerk stood frozen, his hand over his open mouth.
Oh, God.
He backed away slowly, then turned and fled down the stairs. Mr. Samsa grabbed the clerk's cane and, with a menacing hiss, began to drive Gregor back into his room. Injured and terrified, Gregor scrambled back through the doorway. He was a prisoner in his own room. In the days that followed, a new routine established itself. It was Greta, his sister, who took on the task of caring for him. She would enter the room on tiptoe, as if visiting someone seriously ill. She first brought him a bowl of milk with pieces of bread in it. But Gregor, to his own surprise, couldn't stand the taste. The sweet milk, once his favorite, was now repulsive. The next day, she brought a whole assortment of food on an old newspaper. Old, half-rotten vegetables, cheese he had declared inedible 2 days ago, some bread, and water. Gregor scurried to the decaying food at once and ate with gusto. Greta noticed. And from then on, she brought him scraps and leftovers, which he devoured in the darkness after she left.
He ate the cheese and the old vegetables.
My poor boy. My poor boy.
Gregor would listen to their conversations through the door. He learned that his father had some money saved, which he had not told the family about. It was enough to live on for a year or two, but not more. Everyone would have to work. His father, who hadn't worked in 5 years, now took a job as a bank attendant. His mother took up sewing. And Greta, a talented violinist, became a salesgirl. Gregor, who had planned to send her to the conservatory next year, was filled with shame and sorrow. Gregor had taken to crawling all over the walls and ceiling. It gave him a sense of freedom. Greta, noticing his new habit, decided he needed more space to crawl. She resolved to move the furniture out of his room.
He needs more room. The furniture is just in his way.
But won't it look like we've given up all hope? Like we're abandoning him?
He doesn't use it, Mother. It's for the best.
And so, with her mother's reluctant help, Greta began to empty the room. Gregor watched from under the couch in alarm. They took his desk, his wardrobe, everything that had been a part of his human life. But when they moved to take down the picture on the wall, a framed magazine clipping of a lady in furs, Gregor panicked. He scrambled up the wall and pressed his body firmly against the glass.
Oh, he's on the wall.
His mother looked up. She saw the giant brown blotch on the flowered wallpaper.
Oh God, oh God.
She staggered back and collapsed onto the couch. She had fainted.
Gregor.
Greta ran from the room for smelling salts. Gregor, dizzy with anxiety, followed her out, hoping to help. Just then, the front door opened. Mr. Samsa had returned from his new job. He saw his wife unconscious on the floor, and Gregor out of his room. His face hardened.
So, this is what you do while I'm away.
Gregor froze. His father looked different. He stood straighter, wearing a smart blue uniform with gold buttons. He looked powerful.
Get back.
Mr. Samsa began to stomp his feet, driving Gregor back. But Gregor was slow. The retreat was difficult. His father, losing patience, started scooping things from a fruit bowl on the sideboard. He began to throw apples. One grazed Gregor's back harmlessly, but the next one flew straight at him. It hit him directly in the back and embedded itself in his shell. Gregor felt a blinding pain. He could barely move. As his vision failed, he saw his mother, now awake, run to his father, begging him to stop.
No, stop, let him be.
Paralyzed by pain and fear, Gregor dragged his wounded body back into his room. The door was slammed shut behind him. The apple remained lodged in his back, a festering, permanent reminder of his father's fury. Gregor's injury was severe. He lost his mobility for over a month. The apple remained in his flesh, as no one dared to remove it. The family, needing more money, decided to take in lodgers. 3 serious gentlemen with impressive beards moved into one of the rooms. They were obsessed with tidiness, and the family's spare furniture and junk were all moved into Gregor's room. The room grew filthy, piled high with clutter. Gregor was barely cared for anymore. One evening, the lodgers were having dinner in the living room. Greta was asked to play her violin for them. Gregor heard the music. He had not heard it in so long. He felt drawn to it, as if to some unknown nourishment. Forgetting all caution, he slowly crawled out of his room and into the living room. He wanted to get to his sister, to let her know how much he appreciated her playing. At first, no one noticed him. But then one of the lodgers pointed.
Look there.
The music stopped abruptly. Mr. Samsa rushed to usher the lodgers away. But they were not scared. They were angry.
I hereby give my notice. I will not pay a single penny for the days I have lived here, on account of the disgusting conditions.
The other two lodgers nodded and declared the same. They then retreated to their room, slamming the door. The family was devastated. All was lost. An immense silence fell over the apartment. Greta was the first to speak. She stood up, her face resolute.
Father, Mother, things cannot go on like this. We have tried our best to take care of it, but it is impossible.
What are you saying, child?
We must get rid of it. I will not utter my brother's name in front of this monster. The only thing for us to do is to try and get rid of it. We have worked ourselves to the bone. I can't take it anymore.
If only he could understand us.
If he could understand us? If this were Gregor, he would have realized long ago that it's impossible for human beings to live with such a creature. He would have gone away on his own. Then we would have no brother. But we could go on living and honor his memory. But this animal persecutes us. It has to go. It has to go.
Gregor heard every word. He agreed with her completely. With immense difficulty, he turned and began to crawl back to his room. He felt the pain from his wound more than ever, but he managed to reach his doorway. He heard the sound of the key turning in the lock behind him. He was once again alone in the darkness. He thought of his family with love and affection. His own opinion that he must disappear was, if possible, even more decided than his sister's. He remained in this state of empty and peaceful reflection until the clock tower struck 3 in the morning. He watched the sky begin to lighten outside his window. Then, without his willing it, his head sank down completely, and his last breath flowed weakly from his nostrils. The next morning, the charwoman came in.
Come in, have a look. It's croaked. It's lying there, dead as a doornail.
The family gathered at the door. They saw Gregor's body, flat and dried out.
Well, now we can thank God.
They decided to take the day off. They wrote letters of excuse to their employers. They went for a walk. They took a tram out to the countryside. The sun was warm. Mr. and Mrs. Samsa noticed that in recent times, despite all the troubles, Greta had blossomed into a pretty and full-figured young woman. It occurred to them that it would soon be time to find a good husband for her. And as they reached their destination, their daughter was the first to get up, and she stretched her young body. Next time on Tenny Presents The Dream of a Ridiculous Man by Fyodor Dostoevsky. We have just witnessed a man lose his humanity and find only despair in the cage of his home. But what if the opposite were true? What if, in a single dream, a man could find the absolute truth of the universe? Franz Kafka showed us the abyss. Next, Fyodor Dostoevsky will show us the light that shines from within it.